Hello, thanks for clicking on my video. Don't get scared off because this is a 25-minute video about an action camera and you've seen some other videos on my channel that are ridiculously rambly. If you're interested in specific parts of the video, I'm going to put some time codes down in the description so you can skip exactly where you want, whether that's to sample clips or whether that's to me unboxing or talking about it or talking about some tips on how to improve the 4K video quality of the camera. It's all going to be down in the description. So why not scroll down and look and see at the table of contents and look and see exactly what you want to look at. If you'd want to watch the whole video, hey, that's great. But without further ado, let's just get on with the video. Hello, welcome to the first video in quite some time. Today, I've got something that I'm hoping is going to be the $50 GoPro killer. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. Alright, so I haven't even opened this shit. I haven't even seen this in person. This is straight box from Amazon. Let's get into this. Apparently the little Smoky Mountains knife is not very good. Alright, here we are. Here is the Yi Lite Action Camera. This is a very, very tiny box. This box looks incredibly Apple. I mean, look at this. Can you get any more Apple than this? It's even got all the information there on the side. It's got this nice little plastic wrap thing, so let's get into this. This knife is going to be fine for cutting into that. Okay. Here is the Yi Lite Action Camera. Alright. There it is. Wow, this thing's tiny. I have never owned a GoPro or anything. This thing is so tiny. Look how small this thing is. This thing's itty bitty. So we've got on the bottom here, we've got a 1/4-inch tripod screw hole, which is nice. We've got a glass camera lens. This thing has a Sony 16 megapixel sensor. I forget the exact model number, but I'll put it down here. And it's got a removable battery door, which has no battery inside of it as of yet. I'm sure that's probably in the box. We'll put the camera to the side for just a second, see what we got in here. Alright, is this, oh man, I was really hoping this was a sticker. If this thing was good, I was going to put this on the back of my laptop, but nope. Just thank you for choosing Yi. Yeah, love Yi, blah blah blah. Alright. We got some advertising. They want the Yi 360 dome camera. They got the Yi 4K action camera. They claim it's the best action camera ever, period. That's a pretty bold claim when you got GoPro out there. Thank you for choosing Yi. Yi 4K action camera supports. Please use a micro SD card that meets the following specifications. U1 or higher. I've got a 32 gig Samsung card we're going to use. This has got a warranty card. Yeah, how long is the warranty on this? 90 days. Okay. 90-day warranty. We got a little instruction manual. Just the sort of big sort of thing here. We got a micro USB cable here. Very little bitty tiny micro unit. It's got a nice little rubber thing around. That's nice. It's a pretty decent quality cable too. It's thick, it's small, but whatever. We got a battery here. It is, I think it's 1100 milliamp hour. No, 1400, excuse me. They say that you can get about, I think it's, yeah, they say you can get 2 hours of 1080p 60 recording out of this, which is pretty good for a camera of this size. And of course you can buy more batteries and whatnot. So let's see if they were generous enough to give us a little bit of a charge. Let's see here. Let's turn this thing on. That's loud. Alright, so we got Yi. Alright, so here is the thing. Let's pull the plastic off. Let's listen to it. The front wasn't too exciting, but the back sound pretty. Oh, I almost dropped that there. Okay, so the footage I originally recorded of me going to the menus just did not turn out whatsoever. So we're going to do it again, and this is going to be so much better. So when you're normally here, you're at the video screen, which is what you first see when you turn the camera on. From here, you've also got some quick settings from the top, which allow you to quickly turn on Wi-Fi, pair that remote, lock the camera, which basically just means that you have to do this to turn it on so that you can't accidentally change settings or whatnot if it's in your pocket or if you're, using it as an action camera. You can swipe to get through the different modes, just video and photo. And from the bottom, you can change your modes. So you got photo, which is, photo, timer, which is like a self-timer, burst, which takes several pictures one after another. It can do 30 pictures over 6 seconds. It can do 10 pictures a second though, which is pretty cool. I don't have a camera or a memory card in here at this moment in time though. And then we've got video, lapse video, which is time lapse that it then stitches into a video at the end. We got slow motion. It'll do 720p at 120 frames a second, or it will do 360p at 240 frames a second. This mode is not exactly the greatest of quality, but it is 240 frames a second, so that is something. And then you've got lapse photo, which basically is time-lapse mode, but it makes a bunch of pictures, so you have to stitch that into a time-lapse yourself. You've got loop recording, which you can start this off recording, and it'll basically just record forever and ever and ever. As long as it's plugged into power, it will record forever. It'll just start looping over the oldest recording after it runs out of storage, and it'll just keep doing that. So this if you wanted to use this as like a security camera, this is the mode you'd put it in. And then if something happens, you could, get home, stop it recording, and it would be there. I don't think it has any sort of motion detection or anything like that, which is kind of, not very good if you're trying to use it as a security camera and save footage, but that mode is there. And then you've got video plus photo. I honestly have no idea what this mode does. I haven't used it yet, but that's that. Let's go back to video and look at the video menus. So if you go through your resolutions, you can see we've got 4K at 20 frames a second, which is pretty choppy. However, I'm actually going to show you a little trick later I found in order to make this video quite a bit smoother. You've got 1440p here, which is a really weird mode. It's not 1440p as you would expect it. It's actually 1920 by 1440. So it's basically a 4:3 aspect ratio version of 1080p. It's basically just a wider or a taller version of 1080p, which is kind of weird. I don't know where that would be useful for content creation in 2019, because everything's widescreen, but whatever. And 1080p you get the choice of 30 or 60 FPS, and 720p you get 30, 60, or 120, and those are all your resolution choices. You got 4K, 1440, 1080, or 720. I tend to keep mine at 1080p 60 most of the time. Timestamp's pretty self-explanatory, just puts a time and date stamp on the video. No idea what it looks like, haven't tried it. Lens distortion correction, this is a cool feature. Right now you can see we are, looking at this baseboard right here, and it looks, fairly straight for a wide angle camera. Now if we turn off lens distortion correction, you can see how fisheye that ends up being. So that's a cool little feature for doing things up close. Auto low light, I usually leave that off. That basically just makes the frame rate way lower in low light. Electronic image stabilization, that's pretty cool. It works actually fairly well. That's something that is not on a lot of cheap cameras like this, but it is on this one, which is quite nice. Mic, you can just adjust it between high, low, and mute. I put it on high. Microphone on this thing sounds absolutely fantastic. I forgot what AGC is. I'll put that in there, what it is. Video standard, NTSC, or PAL for, countries you're in, frame rates, that sort of thing. Image quality, leave it on high. And then image parameters is pretty cool. You can actually change some manual settings. Now, you can't really do this while you're recording or anything like that, but you could get in here and do some very basic, manual video settings if you felt the desire to need to do that for, whatever reason. All these have their own thing. I'll go through the options and lapse video as well real quick, because I think those are the two that are, kind of important. Interval, it basically just sets the interval between each picture that's taken. Video length is how long the video will be. So you can set it to take a picture every 2 seconds, and then it'll stitch it together into a 60-second video at the end. And it will make it a 4K 30 video at the end, which is quite nice. And then you got the other same options down there that we've already been through. So that's a very quick run through. Actually, it's a very long run through of all of the menus and whatnot in this camera. There's one more thing I wanted to show, and that is the app. So unfortunately it is not working correctly with the iOS 13 beta, which is annoying. However, I'm just going to show you the Android version, and hopefully by the time the final version of iOS 13 comes out, they'll update their app. So let's just show you how to get connected. So first of all, on your camera, go down to the quick menu, tap Wi-Fi, and you'll see it flash Wi-Fi there, and eventually it'll be ready. So now you can just go on your device, connect up to the camera, and hopefully, there we go, it's connected. So from there you can go into the Yi Action app, and they got like their own sort of social thing, but I mean, meh. You can also, control the camera, so it'll connect up to the camera, and from here you can see a live feed of the camera, and it's actually, quite a smooth live feed. So here's, the camera recording this, and it's not that bad. I mean, even the compression artifacting, it's not too terrible. It looks like a 720p YouTube video, which is, not great, but it's usable. So within this app you can change all your settings. You got all your settings there. You can start recording. You can go through your different modes here. You got time lapse, slow motion. You get all that sort of stuff right here. You can also push a button here and you can go landscape here, so you can, have a bigger video preview. And go back portrait. I don't know why it has a button to do it, but it's just weird. Now let's talk about downloading a clip. Here, let's download this. This is a 200 megabyte video. Let's download the original video, add it to downloads, and then if we go into here, into download, the one file's downloading, you can see it's going, it's stopped now. That's weird. Alright, let's try and cancel that. That was weird. Let's download the video. And you can see now it is going along at a pretty good pace, which is good. Nice. Okay, there we go. Now it is downloading. I don't know why it was being stupid to get started, but now you can see it is actually, downloading at a reasonable pace actually. So, not bad. So now the video's downloaded and we could watch it on here. There you go. That's, a quick demo of the Wi-Fi. There is one more thing that I do have that we'll take a look at here real quick, and that is the Kapton, or something, however you say that, the Kapton Made in China. It says Kapton Made in China. That's the name of this product. No, this is actually a waterproof case for this action camera. Yi wants like $30 for their own case. That I think is a little bit ridiculous. So I bought this Kapton case. This is like $13. It's definitely going to need to have a paper towel test done on it. Oh my. There's water in here. Do they actually test this? Look, there is water on that. You see that? There's water on this. Now I wonder if they actually tested that. That's interesting. There's water all on the outside of this case. Apparently it has a glass lens. So let's see. You are supposedly supposed to just lift this up. Might be lifted. Okay, you lift it up there, and then that comes out. Okay. No water on the inside, which is nice. All right, I'm gonna pop this camera in here. Some people said it wiggled around in here. I don't think it does. It looks like a pretty good quality case. Let's Alright, so we're recording through the case now. So we'll definitely have to see if there's any noticeable decrease in quality. Yeah, decrease in quality. So, yeah, definitely we'll have to play around with this. So, yeah. I hope this will be pretty cool. Yeah. I bought this because we're going on a cruise later this year. So this camera, I will definitely put out another video on this camera after that, because that will really be whenever this thing's putting it through its paces. So expect a follow-up to this around like the end, like November, December of 2019 of this camera. Expect a follow-up. But for now, I'm going to stop this recording. I'm definitely going to go outside and do some shots with this. So without further ado, here's some sample clips. So as I just said, let's get started with some sample clips. The first thing here we have is a really cool time lapse of the sun setting, and then it goes into a night. And what I think is really cool about these time lapses at night is the fact that you can see the lights come on of all the houses as it gets dark, and then they go off once everyone goes to bed. It's quite cool. And this time lapse also gives you a great idea of the both daytime and low light. Now we have a clip of the clouds, and this is just a clip, once again going into the night of just the sky and the colors in the sky. And once again, I think that this is a very cool clip. Now here we have a time lapse of fish in the creek behind my house. Now I actually had a video of just a regular video of this. Somehow it got deleted. I don't know what I did to it. And unfortunately this time lapse, the camera fell in the middle of it, which is a bit disappointing. Now we have something that I think is quite cool, and that is this is just a regular video during a storm, and you can see the lightning, and you can hear the rain and the thunder, and it's quite cool. So I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute and let you see this. Now we have a video of the creek behind my house rolling in a video, and as we speed it up here, you can actually see it receding after a whole bunch of rain. It's been a very rainy last little while, month or so, so you can see how it just really quickly just goes down, and I think this is quite cool. This is sped up about 3,500% for a 10-minute video. And now we just have a time lapse of some rain, and it's quite cool to just see it, fall off the wood on the back deck. Alright, we're going to take a break from some dreariness. This is on a nice sunny day. This is a 1080p recording of me riding around on my bike. So you can see it looks quite nice actually. I believe this is with the image stabilization off. Now here we are going down with the image stabilization on, and you can see it does actually do a pretty good job. Now here is that 1440p footage that I said was really weird. It's basically 1080p, but it's a little bit taller, so it's just a taller version of 1080p. I don't know where this would actually fit in with any sort of, modern content creation like I was talking about when I was going through the menus. It just seems weird to me. And then here we have some 4K 20 frames a second clips, and you can see that it's quite choppy, to say the least. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to show you how you can actually make this look a little bit smoother. That'll be on at the end of the video with a couple of other little extras that I have found about the camera in probably the month or two I've owned it. This video has been very delayed. Now we've got just me walking around. This is 1080p 60 with the image stabilization turned off. So you can see it's, a little bit bouncy. The quality is actually really nice here in the sun, which is when an action camera would most likely, be used. And now here is that 2K, which, like I said, it's basically just a taller version of the 1080p. But, this walking back here in the same place gives you a good baseline. It's basically the same video, so, you can see the same details and what kind of quality the cameras actually are capturing. And here is a 4K 20 frames a second clip, and you can see here, this is just very sickening to watch. It's very jumpy, it's very choppy, and I'm going to show you how you can clean this up here in just a second. And now here is some 4K footage. This is just me shoving the camera into the water. So this is kind of an example of what you can expect with 4K. And this is the kind of place where the 4K on this camera makes a lot of sense. There's not a whole lot of motion if you would just put it there and just have some fish slowly going around. And there's a lot more detail. The detail between 1080p and 4K on this camera is actually quite noticeable. It's definitely shooting real 4K video. Okay, so this is sort of a bit of a audio test. Like, as I mentioned in the video, the audio on this camera is absolutely fantastic for an action camera. In the wind, it is kind of bad. Here's an example of it in the wind. Oh, now we're getting some wind. So that'll be a good test of the audio quality. Well, it's windy, so yeah, I'm talking, it's windy, so. However, overall, the sound on this thing is actually quite nice. That's really all I got to do. As far as a vlogging camera goes, this could be an okay option. The quality's good, it's small, the battery lasts a while. It's not very good with wind noise. However, what can you do? It's a little tiny camera. It's worth mentioning, of course, whenever it's in a waterproof case, the audio is unusable. And I'm going to go cut to some slow motion things that I actually need to record right now, because I just realized I don't have any slow-mo clips that I've recorded. So I need to record some slow-mo clips. So we're going to have a 720p 120 clip, and then we're going to have a 360p 240 frames a second clip. So yeah, we'll look at those now. So now, as promised, I'm going to show you how you can make the 4K clips a fair bit smoother. So now, the first thing is I'm going to show you how to do this in Premiere. I don't know if you can do this in other editing package and how you can do it in other editing packages, but I'd be willing to bet you can. But I'd also be willing to bet that you can't do it in like Windows Movie Maker or iMovie. You gotta have something professional, like maybe Final Cut can do it, maybe DaVinci Resolve can do it, I don't know. I know for a fact Premiere Pro can do it, and I'm going to show you how you can do it in Premiere Pro. So, the first thing you need to do is make a new project. So I'm going to just call this, make 4K smoother, or something like that. I'm just going to name it as something like that for this. So I'm going to go ahead and import my clip. I've got it right here. So I'm going to close out of this other timeline. So there we go. Now we have got this 4K clip imported that is very, very, very choppy from the Yi Lite Action Camera. So now the first thing you're going to need to go is do sequence and sequence settings. This is set for a 20 frames a second sequence because that's what this video is. But we don't want that. We want to make this a 30 frames a second sequence and hit OK. And hit OK anyway. So now we have got a 30 frames per second sequence, but you can see the video is still choppy. So what we're going to need to do to fix that is go on over to time interpolation, optical flow. After that, hit enter on your keyboard and it's going to render it out. Now depending on the speed of your system, this could take some time. If it's a long clip, it's going to take some time. So if you have a somewhat decent computer, it's going to be a bearable speed. You can see it's going at a bearable speed, but it's, still quite slow, like 50 seconds for a, 27-second video, so it's about double time to do on my computer. So you're going to have to be patient if it's a long clip, but you can see here, once it's done, how much better it looks. So I'm going to pause and I'll be back once it's done. Okay, so now it is done, and you can see here that if my computer will not be stupid, you can see here it is quite a bit smoother. It's still kind of choppy on here because Premiere is acting stupid, but I'm going to render this out, and then I'm going to just throw it in the project that I'm working on now and show you the two side by side. One more thing I wanted to touch on with this camera, and that is the fact that it uses standard GoPro mounts on both this Cupton case as well as the official case. And besides that being good general information to know that this will be compatible with just about any accessories you want, generic or not, that is the fact that you can actually, if you have access to a 3D printer, you can 3D print your own parts. This is a tripod screw mount that I 3D printed on my 3D printer. It's the Monoprice Select Mini V2. Review on that is coming soon. I can't wait to show that off in a video. But you can see here it comes with this Cupton case, comes with the claw foot mount here. So you can use, most of your GoPro accessories right out of the box. However, you can just take the pin out, as well as the nut here, which honestly I usually just poke that in there and get it loose like this. Then it just comes out. And then you can just shove the nut in this 3D printed tripod screw hole. Put that in there. Put this in the side and tighten it up. And now I've got a adapter to put this on a tripod, so let's just line this up. It's kind of hard to do because I'm looking through a viewfinder of a camera. And then tighten it up. And there we go. Now you can see that from this 3D printed part, this is now securely attached to this tripod mount, which is quite cool. So now we have got a GoPro, 3D printed GoPro tripod mount, and this version does not use any nut or anything like that. It just is a straight hole in here. And I mean, if you look on thingiverse.com and you scroll through, there are just about all the GoPro accessories you could ever need. So yeah, that's quite cool. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to check out some other one of my videos, why not check one out right here? If you really like what I'm doing, why not hit like, get subscribed right here, leave a comment if you have one. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and goodbye.